Craft chocolate is something I would call it artisanal. It all started about maybe about 7-8 years ago in America. Someone actually getting very tired of the industrial made chocolates. Well, probably they were thinking, is there a better way to make chocolates? Well, craft chocolate is basically starting from scratch, where we work with cocoa beans and then from different origins, and they're basically very simple in terms of the ingredients that they use and very transparent. They only use cocoa beans and the cane sugar that they can find, and at the same time probably some cocoa butter, So with these simple ingredients, it actually brings out some of these very unique characteristics of this cocoa. How I actually got involved in craft chocolate. Immediately after my national service, I was recommended to join one of the chocolate factories. In fact, I worked at a very low level, like in a production operator. I got involved in the R&D department, and I was being promoted finally to R&D department manager. And at the same time, I was given the opportunity to go to Germany in Solingen to attend one of the chocolate and sugar confectionery technology class. So that was the time where I actually acquired the right skill, and at the same time knowing what all these big chocolate factories, how they actually made the chocolates. So I brought these skills back to the factory, and I started to make even more different types of chocolate, upgrading the quality of their chocolates. I was very happy with what I have achieved over the years. But being a businessman running a chocolate business, at the end of the day, they are all talking about how to make a piece of chocolate. Well, cost low, so they started to do a lot of replacement of certain kind of essential ingredients, which I find is not the right way to do chocolates. And eventually I left the business, left a particular company. A couple of years ago, I brought my family to Japan, and then I met one of my classmates who studied together with me in Germany. Well, he showed me one of this particular chocolate cafe. I was shocked, and I was so surprised that there are some businesses like this actually exist. They actually make chocolates from scratch, working with the cocoa beans, making single origin chocolates, and it tastes amazing. But the first step into the shop, the aroma of cocoa was so amazing, and that actually struck my mind and says, well, why isn't Singapore having such business? I was so happy and I was so inspired. So what I did was, immediately when I came back, after visiting a few of these craft chocolate makers in Japan, I came back. I spent almost half a year doing research. I visited a lot of chocolate, I would say cocoa farms, get to know more about how these cocoa beans are being harvested and how they are being processed in the farm. And I started doing, a very small batch, home based. I brought some equipment home. I started making these chocolates at home. Similarly, just like what the Americans did, homemade chocolates, I share it with a lot of my friends, relatives. Everybody says these chocolates taste amazing. So the more in-depth I get involved in, finding out what's craft chocolates about, and I thought, these must not be wasted. Whatever that I've learned and I've made research shouldn't put to waste. I should actually share with more people. That's how I actually started Lemuel, this craft chocolate making shop. To make one batch of my chocolate, well, it's roughly about 8 to 10 kilos. It takes me 1 month. Why? A lot of people say, wow, why so long? Well, I have to sort the beans. Every piece of the beans I have to sort by hand. And then after sorting the beans, I go for roasting, cracking, remove the shells, go for a pre-grinding, and going to the major, what they call the main grinding process that is grind by stone mills. This is the one that actually took up some time. I mill my chocolates for at least 52 hours. The grinding actually helps to make the chocolate creamy, smooth, and it melts instantly in your mouth. Even after this grinding process is not the end of the story. I remove them, I go for an aging process. This aging process takes roughly about at least 2 weeks. Before I actually remelt them, temple them, and make my first chocolate bar. This is the kind of things that a lot of people didn't know, because they just buy off the shelf, eat it probably within a day, and not knowing that that piece of chocolate actually took quite a while to make them. Not only the time, it is the amount of, I would say, the love that you actually put into making that piece of chocolate. As you can see, right from the very beginning, the stage 1 all the way to the first chocolate bar that I made, it almost took me 1 month. I want more people to get to know what's craft chocolate. Okay? Similarly, I got my children involved as well. 2 of my daughters are involved in making chocolate, and they love doing it. They actually shared the same passion I had. I've been, I would want them one day, be able to bring this craft chocolate culture to the next level.
When I was younger, my dad used to teach me and my sister how to make chocolates at home, like very basic, like chocolate lollipops and candies, and then we'll give them away to our teachers for like Teachers' Day or such events. And then that continued as we grew older. And then where I properly started having an interest in chocolate was after my A-levels. I had this very long break, and then my dad signed me up for some classes at Chocolate Academy. So I took basic tempering and molding and learning how to make bonbons. So that's where I started my interest in bonbons, learning how to make the different fillings, how to temper chocolate, how to learn the basic techniques of coloring the molds and how to make the bonbon design. At times, when I have any questions or whatsoever, I can just consult him, whether it's regards to my methods or different techniques that I may be using on my bonbons which may not work out. That he's always there to help me troubleshoot the different things. And if I'm in need of any inspiration for my bonbons, he also will be there to help me. Sometimes he'll just send me like pictures he finds online, he finds that it's pretty or what. Then he'll just send me once in a while. Then I'll just take reference from there lor. And well, he inspires me in such a way that his passion for the business, and I'm hoping that one day my sister and I will be able to take over the business and bring it to greater heights, especially since we are targeting the people in our generation. So my sister and I will be able to understand more into the mindsets of our generation and hopefully bring Lemuel Chocolate to greater heights.